back. Season 3 is official, and I got to be honest, I wanted to come back with somebody that is truly respected in Chicago, somebody that is award-winning, a coach, leader, somebody that you should truly take a moment, pause, and listen to if you have questions in your business or trying to ramp it up. This person impressed me instantly with his knowledge base, and we got along right away. I had no idea how tech savvy and utilization of tools and AI, it just goes on and on and on. You're not going to want to miss this one. With me today is Nick Libert. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Glad you said my name. That intro, I was like, who are we meeting today? It wasn't me, is it? Well, thank you very much. Excited to be here. And Tim, you're doing great things with the podcast and just in general. Appreciate you being willing to mastermind with the industry and hoping to give some nuggets and learn some nuggets today.
It's incredible because I meet these people like yourself, and it's wild how talented you people are. And I mean that you people, because they're all different. Everybody does different things in their own unique way, and you can learn something from every single one of them. And you right away impressed me we did a conference call, and I was just blown away. I mean, your technology that you use, you do so much more with less that I think so many people could learn from you some amazing tactics. I think we got off the call and it automatically sent me a recap of everything you and I had talked. It's wild, super impressive.
I love systems and automation. Anything I can do to make the consumer or the realtor's life easier and better.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
That's right. Do something awesome once, and then how do I replicate it? Right?
Systematize over and over again. Yeah.
So for those who don't know you, which would be surprising, but for those who don't know you, please tell the audience, who are you, and maybe throw out some numbers of how many agents you have and who you are.
Nick Libert, broker owner of Exit Strategy Realty. We are Exit Realty International's largest and most productive office within the 700 plus franchise brand network. We are a 5+ brokerage office operation across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. About to also be starting to service Southeast Wisconsin as well. Wow. So we're excited about that. I've been in the business 27 years. Started at Coldwell Banker. Went on my own independent after about 3 years. Put myself through college doing real estate, and then went to law school thinking that I was going to be a lawyer, and ended up staying in real estate the whole time, the last 27 years. Absolutely love it. 700 something personal transactions. As a office group since I opened Exit 16 years ago, Exit Strategy. We've done over 10,000 sales transactions, 3,000 lease transactions.
Wow.
Generated over $5 million in residual bonuses for our agents.
Wow.
And we've been doing some good stuff. We're not perfect, but we're starting to get some miles on this thing. And
I've yet to
much
meet
more to come.
A perfect real estate, office. It's just what it is. You're a problem solver, right? So when those problems come up and you're able to solve them for your people, that's why you've grown so much. I mean, how many agents do you have underneath you?
As of today, 268.
268, and that's 5 offices.
5 offices.
Wow.
So we're looking to
truly incredible. So let's start in the beginning. How did you get into the industry? How did you start your career?
So I started out, growing up, my dad was perpetually unemployed, could not keep a job to save his life, or put food on the table. So when my mom and dad divorced when I was 15, I noticed that some months the way we were able to actually put food on the table was my mom was smart enough to have a rental property. We didn't have a lot of money, but she had a business before I was born. And when she sold the business and started a family, she had that rental property, and that rental property put food on her table. So my mom and my grandfather always preached to me the value of real estate. And so when I went to college, I was on scholarship, but I also had a job. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to try to buy a piece of real estate. And when I went to buy that piece of real estate, I'm like, I think I want to get my real estate license. So got my real estate license, really to only be an investor at the beginning. And instantly, though, the minute I got the license, I fell in love with the business. And so I ended up doing what I call retail, actually going out and doing the business of selling real estate, not just being an investor, although I've been an investor, buy and hold, fix and flip, sometimes good, sometimes not, for years. So I've got kind of multiple hats that I've worn in the industry. And that's why I think, as an agent, I'm very agent centric for my brokerage. But I understand the different categories that we all kind of are striving to be in, because I think when people get their real estate license, one of the biggest shames to me is that people just go out and sell real estate for other people. They don't invest in real estate for themselves. They don't think about the multiple income streams you can have within real estate. And there's really several.
When I ask you the question of how you started, I love how you started out the right way and you paid honor to your mom. She sounds amazing. And a single mother with, managing a business and also a rental property. If you think about it, it's kind of cool. That turned into your career, right? And I can't imagine as a parent, the decisions that I make, paying the dividend all the way to now. So shout out to her. That's incredible, man. So, I think it's you touched on a couple of really interesting things. But going through the beginnings of your career, when you started out, right, for those kind of newer to the industry, right, I'm sure you had some mentors that brought you in, right? You got excited about, being in it, but who got you, to where you are today or in the beginning?
So a couple different people I'd love to give shout outs to.
Yeah.
When I originally got in the business, the woman that sold me my first investment property while I was in college and said, hey, you should get your license, was named Carolyn Butler.
Okay.
And she was at Coldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker was the #1 agency in my hometown. So I went to Coldwell Banker Real Estate School, got my license, and parked I was in a little tiny cube outside Carolyn's office when she was, she had a cool corner office. She was a big dog in the business.
Yeah.
And so she was a really amazing mentor. And then the managing broker at that office, Janice Ruskowski, she's passed away a while ago, but she was an amazing managing broker. Yeah. She really taught me how to run a brokerage as a family, like make things fun. She had parties at her house. She had a really cool house on the river. She'd do bus tours, and we just had a lot of fun at that Coldwell Banker office. I didn't love the commission splits. I didn't like a couple things there, but I really loved Janice and what her and Carolyn taught me about the relationship of the business. That a lot of those things still stick with me to this day.
That's amazing. I think that makes a lot of sense for me because I see your social media and I see how you run your ship with your people, and it does seem like a party. It seems like you're always having fun. You're always out with your people, right? You're not hiding in the shadows. You are with your team. You're out there, leading from the front, right? And I think the feedback I've gotten about you is that you're really in it with your team. You're trying to get them motivated and showing the things that you're doing and being honest with them, right? And I think you're also a coach, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes. So one of the things that I think differentiates me from other, broker owners or proprietors in the business is that I am still selling real estate. I'm still selling real estate on the streets with my people. I don't think I will ever stop selling real estate. I love that. I have a wonderful database of people I've served for 27 years now.
Wow.
That, from their first studio apartment that I leased them to their first condo, then they get married, they have kids, they go to the suburbs. Now they've got, 3 investment properties with me or a commercial building.
Wow.
It's a relationship for life. I love those relationships, and I like working in the business because that's how I'm finding the tools like Zenlist, like our CRM, like other things that I use with our agents that work for my clients. And when I find a need, I fill the need. I think that's a lot. Sometimes there's a lot on my plate, but at the same time, I'm effective as a coach because I am constantly in the business with our agents, seeing what they see, versus having to kind of react. I'm proactively going out there and finding the solutions for our industry.
They don't have to explain it to you. You get it because you've gone through something similar. I think that's excellent leadership. And I personally, I don't understand leadership that's not in the trenches. It just doesn't work for me because when I'm having to explain what I'm going through, there's always 3 conversations before we finally get to the solution versus you've gone through something similar and you go, well, this is what happened to me and this is what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's, and I think I had to learn that. I mean, I think there was phases of my career. So I started at Coldwell Banker, loved being, a part of a fun office family.
Yeah.
Didn't love the commission splits, didn't love a couple other things. I'm like, you know what? Hey, I think I know it all now, which I did not. I go out and I start my own company. I called it Nick Libert Properties. This is September 4th of 2001. I have terrible timing. So whenever I start something new, run in the other direction because there's always something's bad going to happen. So started my first brokerage, Nick Libert Properties, a small independent, week before 9/11. So that was an interesting time to start a business. So I did that for 3 years, and that really taught me the pain that small independent brokerages go through, because I didn't know it all. And I'd left a really cool office family to go do my own thing, where I was keeping 100% of my commission. I'd started hiring agents. A lot of them were new. Real cool team. I actually still have my original agent, Suman Saha. He's still with me from Nick Libert Properties. We call him the OG of Exit Strategy, because he's been with me through all the phases of my career over the last 20-something plus years. But when I was a small independent, I was having to reinvent the wheel every day. You know, what's the right website? What's the right this? And I was always having to be kind of like the master of everything. And you're not. You want to mastermind with other people. And I was, talking to the walls, because my agents are looking to me to do everything or find everything for them. And they should be looking to their broker for some guidance and leadership. And so I just was not building the right mastermind, and I knew that. And I'm like, this isn't it. So I call it 3-year itches. So my first 3-year itch, I left Coldwell Banker. My second 3-year itch, I was small independent. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go back to these big franchise brands, but I've got to figure something out where both me and my agents have some other people to mastermind with, but I want to have a residual component of that. I want multiple income streams. I want my agents to feel like they're not only as good as their last commission check, because that's what I felt at Coldwell Banker. I'm like, I'm on a hamster wheel here. I've got to get some other sources of income. They weren't teaching me how to invest in real estate. They were also not giving me a piece of the action, because I was starting to mentor people and help them at Coldwell Banker. And I'm like, hey, I want a piece of the action. So this is 2005 now. And I'm looking around, I'm going, okay, what's out there that has a residual component? At that point, Exit was not yet in Illinois, but Keller Williams was. They had a profit share component. They had a multi-level market MLM type feel. But I'm like, hey, I can see myself and my agents kind of all winning here. They had great training. Loved it. Went over there. Had a wonderful 3-year run. Love all my friends at Keller Williams. Have great contacts with them all around the world. But my only issue there was all the training was behind a firewall. All the coaching was behind a firewall. It's like everything you had to pay for. And the agents that I brought over with me from my small independent, they didn't necessarily have that money. Yep. And we're now entering the Great Recession towards the end of my time at Keller Williams, and people didn't have the money for that stuff. So what ended up happening at that point is I'm like, I really think I'm going to have to find something else that feels kind of like this, has a residual component, but also has technology and tools, but it's going to allow me to do my own thing, brand myself, let my agents brand themselves. Where is that? Well, by then Exit came to Illinois. The only problem was Exit didn't have a coaching program. So I had to go out and learn how to be a coach. So I learned a lot from Keller Williams, because as a team leader, they'd given me, when I merged my little company into Keller Williams, they made me a team leader, managing broker, and they paid for some of my great training, which is wonderful. Yeah. But at Exit, we didn't have some of that stuff. And so I went out and I found Brian Buffini. So I'm a Brian Buffini certified mentor.
Brian Buffini's awesome.
Brian Buffini's amazing. But I was still kind of wanting even more than that. And so I went into the core coaching, which is both mortgage, both the loan officers and the real estate agents. We know the core coaching well. Tough program. It beat me up for 3 years, cost me almost $3,000 a month. But let me tell you something, that $100,000 was the best investment that I ever made in my business. And very grateful for it. Core coaching looks a little different today than it did when I was in it and when some other people were in it that I was friends with. But Kendra Cook and Rita Casey were my guides and my coaches in that program. And when I came out of that program, I felt like it was time to be a coach for my agents, maybe some other agents at Exit. And I started branding that into what is now today Project X, which is my coaching program, which is not just coaching, it's also technology tools. Okay. Because especially here where we're here at in Chicagoland, we've got the private listing network, which is, I don't love it. I think it's an abomination in some ways. So how am I going to get my clients all those private listings that don't show up on Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, et cetera? You can't do it on an auto prospecting search in the MLS. How can I get those to my consumer? Finding an app that would do that. some of the other technology pieces, a great CRM. What's a great CRM? It's going to be the CRM the agents use, but also a CRM that integrates with everything. Integrations are key. How to help my agents have better social media skills, doing some of that AI component for them. So I found a company, really great company, that helps my agents do that. Automating things so my agents aren't setting up manual MLS searches. They're not playing on social media as much. They have things that are automating postings and reviews for them and listings for them, saving them dozens of hours a week. That's my jam. If I can coach you with mindset and scripts and business plan of attack out there, building the relationships with your consumers, and give you technology tools and give you a really good commission split, caps and residuals, I think I got a pretty good system. It ain't perfect, but we're doing some really good things, and in some communities of Chicagoland that other brokerages are not seeming to focus on.
There's so much to unpack with what you just said. It's all so powerful. First things first, what you said about the core, the reason I'm at Union Home Mortgage, one of the main reasons is Brian Smith is the head of our coaching program, and he's my mentor. He's done a fantastic job leading this program. I'm one of the coaches for the program, and I had no idea how much I needed a coach until what we just went through with COVID, right? Yep. And we figured out, a lot of people have organized chaos, and maybe you are closing deals, but what you don't know is how much money you're leaving on the table.
Oh, yeah.
What you don't know is all the gaps that you have in your business. Is that if you're standing around congratulating yourself, maybe you need somebody in your corner going, yeah, but you missed this, and you missed this.
Yep.
And just so you know, you screwed up here. Because if you want to become a master of your craft, you need that accountability. You need somebody willing to be bold enough to tell you what you need to hear. The social media side of it, I love what you were talking about because it's so funny. I do a lot of social media stuff, right? You do too. I'm sure you have a similar experience. I run into people and they're like, Tim, I want to start a podcast, or I want to get big into Facebook, or pick a flavor of social media, right? And I say the same thing every time. I'm like, listen, you're not an influencer. Don't try and be an influencer. Nobody cares about you standing in front of somebody else's listing, taking a picture in front of it like it's yours. That's not going to get you leads. So why are you doing it, right? Mm-hmm. Figure out a plan. Get somebody in your corner to help you with it, because it's branding at first. If you want it to become lead gen, that's a whole other system that you're going to have to create, and you got to treat it differently. And I think that a lot of people get overwhelmed when they start to realize what it takes to become a you or a me or somebody who's, has something. You don't need to get overwhelmed. What you need is a coach. You need somebody to go, hey, let's start small. Let me work this out. And actually, I've built all this for you. So here's where I'm going to plug you in, right? Yeah. And let me show you how this works. I don't want you to do any of that. It's already built. You're going to let it run. And this is what you're going to do to the reactions, or this is what you're going to manage, is this part, not this part, right? Because like you said, you get a new idea. It takes you, some time because you're going to screw it up a few times until it gets it to where it needs to be, right? Yeah. I don't think many people, realize that. They try something and it doesn't work and like, oh, this isn't for me, right?
They try it once. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think, sometimes having a second set of eyes on it. And that's so what I do with my agents is, you set up an individual coaching session with me. I use Market View Broker, which pulls down their statistics, like how many deals have you done, what's your historical trends, what areas are you selling in. I pay for their CRM. I don't have access to their individual CRM because I give them their own seats. They take that seat with them if they were ever to leave the company. Because I'm passionate about it's in my agent bill of rights. I've got a list of 10 things. I'm like, here's the things I'll never do to you that were done to me at other brokerages I think are terrible.
Wow.
But I can see if they're logging into their CRM, if they're sending emails. I can't see what the emails are. If they're sending the text, so we do mass texting, that kind of stuff. What's going on? What are you doing? And, there's got to be some accountability, and there's got to be tracking. I call it, in Project X, I call it, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. Everything. I track everything. Even, the silly water bottle, you may see it glow at some point if I take a sip out of it. I measure everything. I'm a data nerd. And I don't expect my agents to be data nerds, but I've got some cool tools for them that I pay for that is like, hey, lean into these tools because we can track your data and figure out if you want to. If you want to go out and do your own thing and be a cowboy, that's cool, as long as it's legal and ethical. But if you want my help, we can track what the heck's going on. and be like, where did you spend your time?
Yeah.
Where'd you spend your money?
Yep.
Because that came from Kendra Cook. Kendra Cook was my coach at Core. She was the head coach at Core. And I was on a Zoom with her, and I was lying to her. The first couple months that I was at Core,
Very
I fought
common.
it.
Very common.
And I'm sitting there paying you $2,750 or whatever. It was almost $3,000 a month. And I'm just flat
Just
out
because you
lying.
don't want to be embarrassed,
Nope.
right? And you're like,
Nope.
no, I did it. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's just not. And I wasn't even saying it wasn't working. Things are working great. I'm like, I'm plateaued at $10 million was where I'd plateaued in business, and I went to them to go to 20 million plus. And Kendra looks at me and she goes, "Send me your database." I'm like, huh? Oh yeah. Oh, the database that I've been telling you for 3 months that I've been working in, that I've been sending things out to. There was an Excel spreadsheet. There was an MLS here. There was a CRM. I just wasn't using it. It was just like crickets because she actually called me out. And so I've learned, some people don't love accountability. I'm not going to call you out unless you want to be called out. But do we all want to make more money? Do we want to have a better life for our families, for, create a legacy, for ourselves and the people around us that we care about, the passions, the projects we care about? You got to have some accountability. And that was a big thing for me.
It's also staggering, at least it was for me and most of my students when they actually get into it. If you take it seriously, and look, if you're spending that kind of money, right, you should take it seriously. It's an expense. You're paying somebody to make you more money. So if you use the programs like what we're describing and you track your actual activity, for me, it was breathtaking. I was busy all day and I didn't talk to anybody. I did work all day and I didn't make any money. Wait a minute, right? And when you start to look at your activity, it's like you set goals on how many people you're going to talk to, how many appointments are you going to have, are you going to send out a gift? All of those things that you and I probably practice similarly, right? Yeah. When you look at the math, you go, wait, you get to the end of the week and go, I actually didn't do anything this week.
Yeah.
But that's the point is, so now to hit my numbers, I got to make this up if I'm going to try and get to this other piece, right?
You got to track it. And you got to realize, give yourself some grace. That's another thing that. So at Core, we had a 5-day kind of like a business planner, theme days.
Yep.
So Project X, what I do is, I'm like, there's the same 5 days, but I'm like, okay, here's what's really going to happen. You're probably not going to make all 5, so you're going to have to make it up in the other ones. And I've got this habit. We call it 8 by 8. 8 contacts by 8 a.m. They're themed by the day, and then you get a bonus, 2 extra people you have. So those are your have-mets. And then by 10 a.m., 2 people you haven't met. This goes expireds, pre-foreclosures, people that need your help, neighborhood businesses. Who are you going to meet that you haven't met before? Because if you're not adding to your database every day, slowly, sadly, your database is dying. Either actually people are dying in your database, which if you're newer to the business, oh my God, that's terrible. You get to I'm 47. I've been doing this 27 years. I've sadly had friends my age and younger, and obviously people that are older than me pass away in my database. People also move away. I don't take them out of my database, but they kind of sometimes get out of the database. Yeah. You've got to always be growing your business, but you've also got to be loving on the existing people in your business. And if you're not tracking that, and if you're not having a daily habit of checking in with people, LinkedIn, social media in general is an amazing part of business. It can't be all your business.
Correct.
But it's such a huge part of your business. It's free. It's my favorite price, free $99. I don't pay for any. I'm cheap. I am cheap, frugal. People keep telling me, say frugal, not cheap. I'm like, well, I'm cheap. We're entering this another weird market like 2008, 9, and 10. It's not the same, but it's a balanced, stagnant, angry balance. Nothing's going on. Nobody's moving. So you've got to watch every penny. And what Kendra Cook and what Core taught me, and what I teach my agents is go back and look at what you spent versus where your deals came in. Are you sourcing your deals? And when Kendra and I sat down and looked at the spreadsheet of my deals versus what I was spending with Zillow, Realtor.com, which, hey, I'll do a good ad spend if it has return on investment. But I was dumping money and quite frankly, not even converting the leads like I could because I had natural business. I wasn't realizing and loving on my database that was the core of my business, but yet I was spending money in other areas, and I was spending a lot of money on billboards, bus benches, magazine ads. You look at me in the 2013 to 17, when did Kendra really kick my butt? 2016, 2017, when she's like, give me that American Express. We're done with this. Just garbage money going out the door. Because, it was cute. The ads were everywhere. Yeah. My orange skin was all over everybody. Everybody knew the face. Nobody was calling those numbers.
Right.
that those things don't work. It's vanity. What works is call to action and lead capture, which none of my ads had. Because I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't tracking anything.
There's no call to action.
No call to action, no lead capture. And in the meantime, my natural database, they hadn't had a hug in, 20 months or more. And it's like, when was the last time I gave out some Cubs tickets? Or, did a movie night? Any of that kind of stuff. And those were the people, my past clients, that for some reason, even though I wasn't loving on them, they were still loving on me. So
I want to trade with you, right? I'll start. My biggest aha moment with what you just said when I was in coaching was current client referrals.
Yes.
I was so arrogant and egotistical, thinking that, I can't do that. It's weird. It's arrogance. It's all, or.
No, it's unnatural. I don't even think it's arrogance. It's just
weird.
Maybe sometimes you're shy about it. Like, I don't want to piss you off right now, because
I'm going to turn this into a referral after I do a good job.
Let me show you first. Yeah.
When you're in the transaction, that person is in a relationship with you. Yep. They just want to make you happy. And it's not that you're using it against them. It's not anything like it. It's just that they're in it with you, and they'd be honored to introduce somebody.
Well, they're also talking at that point.
Yeah.
When are they talking most about their place in a positive manner? Because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I found a place, or I'm looking for a place. They're talking to their friends, their coworkers. Everybody knows.
It's your best lead gen you could possibly have, because they're telling everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
And then but that's the time that we're shy. And that's one of the big nuggets I would take away from learning through coaching and finally listening to my business and learning the numbers and watching the data, was CCRs, current client referrals. And then also,
give me one. What do you got?
I would say the other thing is, like, after the sale, getting that testimonial.
Yeah.
Getting that testimonial, building the testimonials up, because I see people, their clients love them. And then I go online and I go look at them on Zillow or Redfin, and that is something that I'm going to get in a little trouble for this, but I don't necessarily love these mega teams that everything goes under one person's production, and there's no individual ability to do client reviews for the individual agents on that mega team. And so it's like you turn around and you look, and that agent that actually did a lot of the work doesn't get any of the credit. And so to me, I want to be able to get credit when I do a good job. I want to get a good review, and I want to be able to show that to the world, because people are Googling you and Zillowing you and LinkedIning you and Google reviewing you. They're looking for your presence online. And when you don't have one, especially in this day and age of scammers and just in general bad business, we got sued as an industry for a reason last year. I don't agree with the lawsuit. I don't agree with the results by any means. But at the same time, look what's going on out there in the world. I think an online presence with good reviews, people are missing that opportunity. They forget to do that. And quite frankly, sometimes maybe they don't do a good job either. I'm seeing still lazy agents that use old cheap lock boxes versus Sentry Lock. Why are you not putting things on the proper lock box? Why are you not doing a good job for your clients? Photos that look like garbage. Come on, you've got all this AI technology now that will allow you to retouch a photo. I'm not saying, make me look like I don't have wrinkles under my eyes. I've been beaten up a little bit, but come on, you can make a yard clean up a little bit. You can take time to actually just open the windows up, the curtains up, make a bed before you take a photograph. I understand sometimes there's tenants in a place, but I look at the photos online, even sometimes my own office, and I'm like, oh, this is hurting my heart, guys. That's why we finally, I'm like, guys, I'm hiring an in-house photographer. I'll reimburse you after the closing if you get this sucker sold. But we have got to have professional photos. Yep. And I'm on top of that professional photographer. Sometimes I don't even like what you did. I'm picky, because photos are your first impression, the same way that testimonials are sometimes the first impression of the agent online.
If you're a professional in this industry and you don't love the fact that the only constant is change, I'm here to tell you, as somebody who entered when things were way different, probably just like you, right? I love the fact that every single day there's something new to learn. Something's different, new guideline, a new program, a new AI feature, a new something. And it keeps us fresh. It keeps us excited about things. It's not mundane. There's no like, it's not this, oh, okay, we're doing the same thing day in and day out, right? And look, if you think that's hard to learn something, my old mentor way back in the day, Jim Heavey, branch manager actually, he came in one day, he puts his arm around me and he goes, come here. He goes, is making phone calls hard? And we're like, what? Yeah. And he goes, no. He points out the window and he goes, see that guy with the jackhammer busting up concrete? That's hard.
That's hard.
Go pick up go make some phone calls.
Yep.
Go learn a system. Go get with a coach. Go get somebody to show you how to do it, because you're dead on. If I'm Googling you as a consumer and I can't find your presence, that's weird. In this world, like, you don't have something on Facebook, you don't have something on Google, I have to search, I have to scroll to find you. People get a lot of questions and they go, well, wait a minute. Maybe this person doesn't close any deals, or maybe they're not dedicated to their craft. And then they Google you and go, well, wait a minute. The comparison is just night and day because you spent time, creating that. It's fantastic.
And this is, these are not hard things to do. These are free things to do. And
right.
Really, you touched on something big. I feel like we are blessed to be in this business. I love that we are not used car salesmen, even though I love cars. I'm an EV nerd. You guys can go out and look on my Instagram or my social media.
Has Trump given you the Tesla yet?
What? No, I did not get my upgraded free Model S. I got my old beat up one. But I really, I love what we do because we're not used car salespeople. We are empowering lives. We're, building generational wealth for people. And we're not doing some of that hard manual labor. My stepdad was a CDL truck driver. He, built and rebuilt cars, like really had a hard life of building stuff, and worked hard in the streets. We're out there in the streets selling real estate, but we have this beautiful position where we're helping people.
Yeah.
We get to sit in air-conditioned cars, air-conditioned offices. We have it on easy street. Why can't we do these easy things consistently? It really sometimes pisses me off that agents are lazy. And that really drives you nuts. I'm like, don't you like, look what you could be doing in the alternate, look what you might have to do if this doesn't work out for you, because this is not rocket science. It's consistency. It's put a little love on it, put a little thought into it, and just be consistent with it, and realize that not every day is going to be a great day, and not everybody's going to like you, and not everybody's going to say yes.
Yeah,
so
choose your hard though.
You've got to always be looking. Do a great job for your current people, and also at the same time always be looking for the next. And that's my Project X. I'm like, that 8x8 is not talking to the people you're already doing business with. It's 8x8 talking to people that you're not currently doing a deal with. Those fires on your current deals, I've got a deal going. If I'm talking to you about your business plan, and you're talking about your current deals, we have a problem. Mm-hmm. No, that's your current deals. I'm talking about what's next. What's next? What's going to come next for you? These current deals, you better be able to get that to closing table. Otherwise, we got to talk to the designated managing broker in my office who's there to help you solve problems. I'm here to help you build opportunity as your coach.
I just said this to a student yesterday. They brought a problem to me, and I go, what are you doing right now? They said, what do you mean? I got this and this and this, and I go, but that's yesterday's money.
Yep.
Did you make money today?
Yeah. Where's tomorrow's money?
He was, oh well. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I'm like, that's closing in 45 days. You're spending your whole day working on something that it's going to be okay. Like, I'm not saying to push it to the side, but no. You're spending all of your energy holding on to this one thing, and it's going to be okay. And then what? Like,
time block.
Stop worrying about yesterday's money. Worry about today's money, and time block your time effectively. Right.
Yeah. Time block for time effectively. And when you get to the point that you're so busy that you need to build a team, if you're not making $100,000 a year, you do not need a team.
Correct.
I'm sorry,
Agreed.
You do not. There's a couple agents of mine that they're close at $75,000 because they work in a tough price point. They work with credit challenge buyers, and really, some rough listings. And I get it, so they're close. But I'm sorry, for the most part, if you're not making $100,000 a year, you don't need a team yet. You need to work harder, and you need to time block and manage your time better. And from there, then you can build a team around you. But it's time blocking, and it's always, start your day, health and wellness, prospecting. I'm a Miracle Morning junkie, so that book changed my life. Get up early, get those things done that are going to help, help yourself. Put the mask on yourself first. Do your health and wellness. Get your prospecting done. Put some food on your table. Then go start putting the fires out on your existing business. Then let's deal with whatever's going on with the family or with your friends, and then maybe you might get some time at the end of the day for some fun.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the technology stuff and lead gen stuff, because I know you're a big. What's your opinions on what's going on with Zillow and all of those things? I mean, are you a Zillow fan?
So I'm a Zillow friend. I don't personally pay for leads, but I have paid for leads, and I've gotten a good return with Zillow. You really got to look at where the traffic is in the world, and in general, that's my attitude with Zillow: is where's the consumer going?
Yeah.
I've had a website since 1998, since the first year I was in the business. The first year I came in the business was the last year they had the old MLS books in Indiana. And so literally I was coming in as the older ladies are going, oh my God, the books are going away. And I'm going, I got a website, nicklibert.com. I've had that junky little website since 1998 in various forms. And guess what? It's never going to compete with Zillow. You can go on there and get all your information about me and go search for property, blah, blah, blah. But people are trained by the marketing and the branding out there in the world to go to Zillow. Maybe to Realtor.com, maybe to Redfin. But Zillow's where the traffic is king. So therefore, that means as a seller's agent, I need to make sure my property looks good on Zillow. As a buyer's agent, I need to be aware that, properties may or may not be on Zillow at this point. So I just need to know the lay of the land. And so my attitude with Zillow is I'm going to make sure that if they invite me to an industry event, I've won awards from them as an industry partner, not spending tons of money with them. And that's how I have a relationship with Zillow, that's been beneficial to my agents. And now we're in Zillow Broker Flex with them. So,
oh, wow.
So that's a
huge.
Big deal. Yeah.
That's huge.
So that's a big deal.
And they don't just give that away. I know that's an earned, accolade there to be a part of that Flex team. That's great. Congratulations. What other technology are you using, or that you found that maybe agents don't know about, or that you think that people should consider?
Well, I think number one, you go back to the baseline of having a good CRM. Have a phone that functions, and then that phone should sync up to any decent CRM. I'm a Wise Agent fan. That's been a great CRM for me. But there's other CRMs out there like Follow Up Boss that also have all the integrations. They've got to have mass texting, because I'm sorry, your email inbox is full. Mass texting, integrations with everything else. Zenlist, I'm a Zenlist junkie. That app is gold because it gets the private listing network out there, the search and the tour features and the property research features. That's huge to me. Zenlist integrates with, your CRM, or at least should be able to talk to it. Smart sign technology. If I drive past a sign and I see, just somebody's cell phone number, God forbid the office number, why are we calling the office? No, that person that picks up the desk of the phone at the desk of the office has not seen the property. They're not the listing agent. That should be going to the listing agent, and it should have some sort of call to action, lead capture.
Yeah.
I love when you can go to a property and it's geolocational smart sign technology like we have at Exit. You go there, it gives you the direct property information. It can give you lots of property information. My properties, if you're in front of one of mine, you're getting condo docs, you're getting rules and regulations, You're getting RPR market report, you're getting all kinds of flooded with stuff. And I'm also getting your cell phone number so I can follow up with you later, or my CRM will. So
lead capture, right?
Call to action, lead capture. And then lead capture, and then give the people something, a unique value proposition for when you capture the lead. Don't just let it sit there. Give them something good.
Yeah.
Show them something.
Yeah.
And we have this beautiful gem called Realtor's Property Resource that every single realtor pays for as part of their National Association of Realtors dues. And that is the most underutilized tool. I'm a certified trainer. There's only 2 certified trainers in the city of Chicago. I'm one of them. That tool changed the game for me.
Really?
And you can there's so much rich data in there on every property, on every neighborhood, on market trends, what's going on, census data, school information, things that, you want to do commercial real estate, we can go in there and click the bar in RPR and you've got traffic counts, you've got stuff that you might not even understand what you're looking at. The amount of data right there in the palm of every realtor's hand. It's also an app for your phone, and it's free.
So when lead gen hits, do you automatically send that to them as like a benefit?
I send them RPR market reports or area reports. Depends on what their interaction with me is. Are they calling in on a specific listing? Are they calling in for CMA on their house? What is the consumer looking for from me or from my marketing or my data? And that's what I'm going to send them from RPRs. There's just a huge amount of information in RPR. That is every realtor across America has access to that. And
That's huge.
Underutilized.
I think you're the first person to ever come on the show and actually talk about that. That's wild.
You're in season 3. That's why I'm here. But I really, I have a passion for RPR because, when the National Association of Realtors, love them or hate them, looked at their budget, I think it was in 2020 or in 2019, they were like, well, not a lot of people are using this. So they were either going to cut it or they're going to dive in and really invest in it. They chose to dive in and really invest in it. And that's when I started to, because I knew what it was and I thought it was okay. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a second, they're doing some great things in there. I dove in, got the certification, get recertified every year in all the different modules because they're always adding stuff to it. It's got AI, Chat GPT in there, huge amounts of stuff for every realtor. You don't have to go out and spend money to become an expert in the industry, even day one as a realtor, as a brand new realtor. So that's another, and that's a piece of technology that everybody pays for. And here locally at the Chicago Association of Realtors and NASBAR and Main Street Organization of Realtors, we all have Forewarn. Forewarn is a huge tool for safety, also for prospecting. Myself and actually also our designated managing broker at our office, Lyle Harlow, we were the two people that we were on the board of directors of CAR at that point. We were the two that fought to keep Forewarn because, like RPR, it was an expensive tool for NAR in that case. In our case, Chicago Association of Realtors is like, man, this is a great tool, but it's expensive. Nobody's using it. We went on a rampage. We're like, no. Called all the other board of directors. I had test cases. I had testimonials from one of my agents that had basically their life got saved by Forewarn. Like, guys, we got to keep this tool. And now adoption of Forewarn is way up the last 2 years.
So anybody who's listening to this who doesn't know what Forewarn is, can you explain it?
So Forewarn is an app for your phone. It's also on your desktop. It's part of your member benefits at Chicago Association of Realtors. Also, if you're at NASBAR, Main Street, maybe even the other ones in the suburbs.
Yeah.
We're a member of all of those at Exit. Forewarn is an app that you get somebody's cell phone number or you put in their name, it's going to give you who they are. It's going to be you're going to be able to identify them. You're going to be able to, is there good stuff, bad stuff in their background? Are you, is it safe to go meet them on the property? That's realtors have been killed the last couple of years. I've never, this has been an unsafe time to be a realtor, and now we got a lot of chaos in the world in general. People need to know what's going on. It's also good to find out, does this person really own their property? You can go into Remine and some other sources, but it's not as quick. Forewarn is a beautiful tool to keep realtors safe and make sure that everybody's on the up and up.
Yeah, I've heard realtors will tell me like, oh, Forewarn just hit, and there's something weird about this. I'm like, wow, that's really cool that as the call's coming in, it'll actually tell you what's going on. It'll actually
that's not as you got to put it in. Put the information in. But yeah, I'm happy to people want to do a training on it. I can do a training. I just was at the Chicago Association of Realtors. They do an open house every quarter. I was there with the member benefits committee, showing off Forewarn and SentryLock. SentryLock's another big thing that, to me, if you have a cheap old lockbox up, you're not doing your job. You should have a SentryLock lockbox with, to me, it's a digital fingerprint. You know who came in when they left. It's an ID. It's not, here's the code. Well, anybody can get that code.
Yeah, and then you've got people who are sharing the codes and doing all kinds of stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Yeah,
I mean, that's bogus. That's
if I'm selling a property, I ask those questions because I want to know what. I don't want somebody walking through my house. You're sharing the code with the client because you're too lazy to go to the property. And
I should either be there, or I should have a SentryLock lockbox, and I should have a QR code or a text code like I do at my listings. It's got all the property information, and also I'm available by phone if you have any questions. Either that or show up and do your job.
Yeah, agreed. Amen. What about AI? Are you using any AI features?
I am. So Marky Lemons, who you may know, Marky Lemons.
Yeah, Marky's great.
Amazing AI innovator. She's been, my coach on social media and stuff for 20-something years. She and I were both at Keller Williams together many years ago. She now is with Exit, but with my office. But she also teaches and coaches and trains for all the brands. She's brand agnostic, flies around not only the country, she's global now. She dove in about 3 years ago now. Towards the tail end of COVID, I really dove in during COVID to what are we going to do with the private listing network? What are we going to do to get a better CRM? I went in that field. Mm-hmm. At the same time, Marky went into AI. And so we kind of had this thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to dive deep in this area. You're going to dive deep in there. Report back to me. So vice versa. And so it's been really fun that I did get some AI on my own with, I use a company called RoomView for this, what I pay for my agents that helps them with their social media content. But Marky went so deep into Chat GPT and Perplexity and all these other things that just absolutely incredible stuff. So my feeling on AI is it's not going to replace you. It should make you better.
Yeah.
You can lean into it, but you can't lean on it, if that makes sense. Lean into it, but you can't lean on it. It could be a great tool for people, and but it should be, a brace, not a crutch. You really got to. I like that it maybe can help you with the property description if you're not a wordsmith. I love doing things on my own, but some agents struggle with that. But you still have to go in and enhance it because AI has never seen that property. It's kind of like an AVM, an automated property valuation. The AVM models, they haven't seen the property. They haven't seen the view or the lack of a view or what got torn up in the house or what got remodeled in the house. It can only know the data. You've got to go in and nuance it and make it your own, whether that's data on a CMA or whether that's a property description.
I think a lot of people are worried about the future of the industry because they think that they're going to be replaced. My answer, that I've come up with is I don't know that I'll ever be replaced as long as I stay in front of it and I learn what's going on, because I'm still a value add. It still needs a human element for it to be effective because it's a computer. It can't do all the things that I know how to do. That being said, if I don't know how to utilize these tools, there could be a skill set difference that when you compare me to someone else, go, oh, I really like working with Tim. This is crazy. And we've been working on this consistently to the point where my presentation versus my competition, it's a regular thing of, wow, this is a lot different than the last guy I talked to. That's the best compliment you can give me, because otherwise, there's a bunch of really great people out there. Why do people use me? Why do they use you? And what you're working on, my little experience just having one meeting with you was incredible. I mean, you didn't have to do a lot, but you did a lot. You scheduled your time effectively. You had everything automated. You had your follow-up set up. You had a recap sent out. Every single thing was the best possible presentation you can give. And I felt like a consumer, right? And you don't have to recreate this every single time. You create it once and you build on it consistently, but it just gets better and better and better. And it's all about getting feedback from the client.
Absolutely.
Getting feedback from your referral partners. What should I be doing? What do you need from me? And creating that solution, right? So it's the best that it can be. Otherwise, you spend all your time all day working on your thing. And it's like, I don't know, that's the best use of your time.
Yeah.
Rewriting emails over and over and over that sometimes you're sending out the same information. Maybe we need to have that so that there's a little bit of presentation pre-built and that you can make it specific to what you're doing, if that makes sense.
Right? It does. And it's, look at where you're spending your time and look at where, so I have this app called Life Cycle. And Life Cycle literally tells you where you're at. So it's just geolocationally tracking you. So you figure out where have I been spending my time? Okay, well, for the last hour, Tim and I were hanging out.
Yeah.
What is that time categorized, et cetera? And you'll realize where you spend your time. And I was looking at my Life Cycle app and I'm going, okay, I'm spending a lot of time driving. What am I driving to? So when I'm parked at a listing, am I doing an inspection, et cetera, et cetera? How often am I driving to drop off a set of keys? Could this be something that now Uber Connect can do that for you? Well, eventually I am a Tesla junkie, despite all the chaos in the world out there. I was an EV warrior before all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Look at the automation where at some point, fairly soon, the car's going to be able to drive itself to the client, pick the client up, bring the client to you. You're going to then get in the car and make that magic happen, but you're not going to have to be driving and interacting with the client. I can't wait to the point, we're almost there with autopilot, with full self-drive supervised. It's getting close where I can actually interact with you guys in the car, because that's, as a buyer's agent, that's where the magic happens. As a seller's agent, what can we do to make things better? The My Smart Sign technology that we brought out, I think that helps. The QR codes and the text message codes of the property, so you have all that rich data that's not 18 layers of paper, but you can get the condo bylaws, the subdivision information, et cetera, right there without killing a bunch of trees. There's ways that we're going to continue to improve the UX, the user experience for the consumer and for the realtor. I can't wait for all this stuff.
It's so masterful.
Some of it's here, some of it's on its way.
It's so masterful to listen to you talk, because you've got it all figured out that it's a symphony, right? It's what is the best use of your time, and identifying times that are not the best use of time. Now, what are you going to do about it? Because the task still has to get done. Is there a more effective way to do it? And everything's, oh, it's going to cost me more money. Well, no, it's just maybe the way that you're doing it. Maybe it's the time that you're doing it. Are your time blocks correct? Did you use the best use of your time in the morning and then move that task to this period? Because it doesn't matter which time you did it, but you ate into your valuable time to go do a task that's not going to make you any money. Why? Right? Yeah. Now you're done and your day's over and you go, well, I didn't really do anything. That's brilliant. Listen, there was so much here, and I thank you so much for being on the show. I think you did such a fantastic job, and I think anybody their best use of time would be to sit with you and pick your brain. So hit Nick up, hit him up on social media. He's fantastic, and I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Amazing. Tim, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Great having you.